Now we are joined in the Hawaii News Now Digital Center with Representative Adrian Tam, who represents Waikīkī. And of course, we are talking about the new legislative session. Wanted to give you a chance. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and a new year, new ledge.
Yep, new year, new legislative session, new issues to tackle.
Yeah, tell us what your priorities are.
My priorities are the same as the neighborhood's priorities of Waikīkī and District 24, which is tackling housing insecurity, cost of living. Noise pollution has been on top of everyone's mind, and tourism. As you know, I'm also the House Tourism Chair, so we're going to make a lot of changes there as well.
Okay, well, let's talk about housing, because I feel like obviously the affordability crisis is again top of mind, especially with all the federal cuts. People just really struggling, right, with their incomes and affording things. What kinds of bills can we look for this session?
I think many bills that we're looking for is any kind of housing reform. I remember that we did a major housing reform bill that would allow mixed use buildings and commercial buildings to reuse them so that they could be housing. But mostly because of the federal cuts, a lot of it's going to come in the form of appropriations to the rental housing revolving fund or the dwelling units revolving fund to really incentivize more affordable housing in construction.
Yeah, I think the challenge that we've been often talking about is, motivating developers, right? Because there just doesn't seem to be any incentive for a lot of them to build housing that average people can afford.
It's not just housing, it's pretty much everything. There's a building in my district that has been vacant for a long time, and the owner has put the renovations and construction of it on pause because of costs. And a lot of this comes from the tariffs that we are just suddenly...
You're talking about ABC stores, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. That's on, if you're just joining us, that's basically what street is that on? It's Kuhio
It's on
and...
Kuhio and Seaside.
Yeah, and that's the old building that...
the old Fusions building.
Yeah, that Paul Casasa had bought. And so,
and I understand.
How's that? Yeah.
I understand where Mr. Casasa is coming from. And, he and I don't want to see it to be left blight, but, he's in a tough position, which is the cost of construction is going up because of these tariffs. And that has also contributed to the convention center project as well. Tariffs have raised the cost of how much it's going to cost to repair the roof at the convention center.
So what are some of the solutions that are out there? We can point to some of the negatives, but are there actual actionable solutions that are being discussed?
We continue to discuss them. We have an excellent housing chair in the House, and I used to work for the housing chair in the Senate, Stanley Chang. And I very much admire them and I trust them. And I also think that it's only up to us to try to find ways, whether it's tax incentives to incentivize affordable housing construction or just major appropriations out of the general funds to go towards a rental housing revolving fund so that we can continue to incentivize development of affordable housing. And with the cuts, now it's more important than ever to prioritize funds in areas that is going to be cut. And, there's going to be a lot of difficult decisions that are going to have to be made because of these cuts. I wish we didn't have to make them, but it's up to the public to let us know what their priorities are too, so we can better understand where we are going to have to make these decisions. And the public can do that by testifying at the legislature, contacting your senator or your rep, and really making your voice heard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough session. I've heard from several people already just saying that, like you said, that there's difficult decisions to be had. The governor also mentioned already proposing to pause those tax breaks. What's your stand on that? Historic tax breaks that a lot of people looked forward to.
Yeah, and there are many people that are benefiting from it, and we all look forward. I've proudly voted yes on it. I'm hoping that we don't have to put it on pause, but I'm going to have to approach this with an open mind given what the budget structure is going to look like in the upcoming fiscal years. I'm hoping that is going to be a combination of us finding ways to generate revenue, promote economic activity, because when there is more economic activity in our economy right now, that means more revenue coming in terms of, so if like, businesses were to get more customers, that would mean more general excise taxes revenue coming into the state to better fund our schools, our roads, and any other public services that we provide. So I'm coming in with an open mind, but it's something that I'm not going to be happy doing if we have to get there.
Yeah, if you get to that point.
Yeah.
And obviously, you represent Waikīkī, and you're the chair of the tourism committee. So let's talk tourism.
Let's talk tourism.
It's been tough, right? I'm
It's been
talking to
very
businesses.
tough. Yeah, and you saw what happened at Duty Free. They're closing in March. And
That's a big loss.
That's a huge loss. And I don't know what's going to become of that major building, but they just put in renovations. But it's a sign that international visitors aren't coming. And it's a combination of a lot of factors. One of the factors is that the Japanese yen is weaker than the Japanese dollar. But I'm hoping that with Japan's economy where it's at right now, it can only go up. So I'm hoping that the yen becomes stronger. And it's up to us to revamp the way we brand ourselves and market ourselves to attract those visitors to come here as well. To continue to come here and spend more. What I will note is that even though visitor arrivals are down, visitor spending is higher than it was last year. In 2024 for in 2025.
Well, because people are spending more on hotels and their flights and all kinds of inflation, right?
It's inflation, it's a combination of tariffs. But it really says that Hawaii is a luxury destination, and we have to be able to utilize that and promote that. And it's also incumbent upon businesses, because the Hawaii Tourism Authority and us as a state can only do so much as a government in terms of marketing. But it's up to businesses to continue to re-innovate themselves and to change what they're doing and offer new attractions to attract customers to come and patronize their business. I like to use the example of Kualoa Ranch.
Okay.
Kualoa Ranch is extremely busy right now. My cousin was visiting me during the winter break, and he couldn't get any kind of reservation to Kualoa Ranch to visit and explore the site because they're all booked out. And this was the case all throughout the year. And rightfully so. It's because they're constantly adding and constantly changing and keeping up with the times.
Yeah, what are they doing right? What's the model that they've adopted so that, But they also have resources, though, remember?
Yeah, they have a lot of resources, such as land and being able to promote. But at the same time, it's up to these companies to think innovatively, too. It's what they want their businesses to succeed. They have to continue to change and think differently. Every company is different, so if you're a restaurant, you might want to put out a new menu or a seasonal option or different types of items out there, a new drink or so. If you are
social media, maybe
social media would be a great way to promote your business. If you are let's say a luau or another tourism attraction, see what else you can add to that enhances the experience, because the people that are coming here over and over again, they don't want to go to the same thing over and over again. They want something new, and that would be like my message to many businesses out there, which is to take that risk and to try to find a new attraction to attract more clients and customers.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the Hawaii Tourism Authority, and we saw kind of the changing of the role, the essentially breakdown of that organization into more of an advisory, right, like last year. So how do you see that kind of playing out this year?
I think this year there's going to be continued discussions about the structure of the Hawaii Tourism Authority, because there's been a lot of confusion on what's its overall goal. So I will be introducing a bill this year that follows the governance study that was published through HTA, actually.
Okay.
They contracted out to this organization called Better Destination for a governance study, and the governance studies came back with its results in 2024. And what they said was that the governance model at HCA didn't work at the time, and that there are other ways to get there. And one of the best ways that they found was that there needed to be a nonprofit style structure with a liaison to the governor for tourism. And this follows the structure of Visit California and Colorado. And they have seen wild successes in tourism in terms of organizing and residential sentiment as well.
So are you confident that will get through? Not much resistance on that? Or
I think it definitely deserves the discussion, but I'll also be introducing another bill that would separate destination management and destination stewardship and regenerative tourism into DLNR, just to have that discussion and create the Office of Tourism with the tourism liaison to report directly to the governor and coordinate with DLNR on how to better manage these tourism hotspots, so that residents aren't so negatively affected, as well as our environment isn't so negatively affected. I'm hoping that, this is something that has gone through a lot of discussions, and I think that it is worth exploring. And we'll see how it is received by the legislature when I introduce it, and the public as well. The public has the opportunity to chime in on that bill when we hold a hearing, and they can testify on it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because, when we're looking at, obviously, other islands, the neighbor islands, we've been talking about Waikīkī, but we're talking about Maui, Hawaii Island, Kauai, and just all the impacts. They feel a lot more, right? Maui, for example, Lahaina and all of that. What are you hearing from people when you talk about tourism from other islands and neighbor islands? Do they feel the same kind of frustration with how tourism has been managed by the state?
I think, yes, I have. But there's also a lot of optimism in tourism because they felt that there's so many ways to build it up. One of the things that we're looking at is sports tourism, especially in the Lahaina area. We're hoping to, thinking about tennis earlier.
You and your tennis obsession.
Seeing my tennis obsession. We're talking about possibly putting out bids to host tournaments at the Lahaina Tennis Ranch. One thing that we've tried to do is let's put in a bid to host the Davis Cup, or possibly hold the Billie Jean King tournament, qualifying tournament there as well. We have brought the LA Rams here to Maui to do a boot camp, and that has provided much success as well in promoting Hawaii and its brand. We've sent a delegation up to Los Angeles, I think last weekend, this past weekend.
HTA.
To try to promote Hawaii, and I think that was amazing. I think that will bring a lot of visitors from Los Angeles. Los Angeles is our biggest market right now.
It's so easy, and sometimes there's cheap deals. People can just fly over. I know my family out in LA will sometimes see flights as cheap as $250 round trip, and it's just a quick long weekend maybe.
It's really convenient because flights are flying out of Los Angeles to all islands all throughout the day too.
And also the other thing, when you talk sports tourism, Aloha Stadium, right? I think there's some model around that, but that's probably years ahead, right?
That's probably yeah.
Well, UH continues to be a draw.
Yes.
Right. But the golf, PGA has pulled out, so that was a loss also.
That was a huge loss. And it was unfortunate that a land dispute caused that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why, I'm pushing for more sports tourism, because we have to fill that void somewhere. Another area that I think is going to be extremely popular is not tennis. I always have tennis.
You're always thinking tennis on your mind.
Baseball, because baseball is very popular in Taiwan and in Japan.
And we are recruiting.
Yeah, and we are recruiting them. I have a friend in Japan. He's running Actually, he's in Taiwan. Sorry about that. He's in Taiwan, and he's actually trying to see what ways we can bring our baseball players to Japan for an exhibition game, and vice versa, having some of their teams come here. And this is an effort that's spearheaded by Senator Glenn Wakai as well, and I think that's a great
To Japan
way.
or to Taiwan?
Both Japan and Taiwan.
Both,
yeah.
okay.
We're trying to recruit them to come here as play for the UH team as well. So.
Oh, okay. So that would definitely help as well.
Yeah.